Hello and welcome to this Warno 1v1 game played between First Cavalry and Rugener. We'll go through the deck reviews and then we'll get back to it. Right, so these are the deck reviews. We've got Rapid Deploy Goulash here playing Rugener, and I'll say the same thing I always say. Don't play it, it's crap. On a map like Tala or something, you can do a good job, but I can't give you good advice on this division because the division it doesn't really make any sense. None of its tools really synergize properly, and so something like Berlin Gropers, which is sort of worse. At least its tools synergize because you just spam T55A on Omen Duel or whatever, maybe you win. But this one sort of got a little bit of everything on maps like Tala and Omen and Factory can work. But generally, the div is just weird. It just doesn't make a whole lot of sense. So it's like, well, how should I play it? Don't. Um, yeah, so this drops from high altitude, so it's not actually as good as you might think. This one doesn't have the side missiles, so it's not as good as the ones that do. It's like, yeah, this is actually just, like, it's only got 10% ECM, but it still costs 235 points, so like, why bring that instead of this? Although this is sack loss, so it only fires one missile per pass. So, yeah, it's a tough gig. You can bring this if you want, but I don't think it's very good. Because it's only got 10% ECM. I think you'd be better off bringing this. The main issue you've got, or you can bring these and buy all three of these in a minute and poop them out, but that's like a one-way trip kind of thing. This is probably a better idea, and you just evac it. So try and come in from the side, maybe. We'll see how this works in the game, but it only having 10% ECM and being really slow is kind of a big problem. So yeah, the div, it's very hard to give advice on because it's just so weird. I think he's bringing basically, I mean, so like, these really are very good. Given that your Mott shots and BTR have 18 pen anyway, I don't know if you really need this. I'd probably swap it out for Marine Pioneers at 1 vet. Because this is a very nice squad, actually. You've got the flamethrower one anyway, so maybe you don't need it. But yeah, do you need 18 Mott shots and BTR? I mean, you can keep this or keep this, but... And the other thing is the Pychota ZMech SVD for 45 points is can be good. Reserviston, decent squad as well for the spam. I don't know, it's up to you. Like I said, there's no good choices. Bringing both cards of these I think makes a lot of sense because they've got the max range, 30 kilometers, and you don't really want to be buying 6, so it makes sense to upvet them. Just have them at the back, leave them on counter battery, whatever. This is still a really good card, but these are better. Coffin launchers, yes. Mortars, yes. For smoke and for HE now. This can't be upvetted, which is a pain. And these slots are really expensive. But yeah, you got the T72, T55, and the T55A. I mean, what more can you do, really? You probably don't need 2 sets of recon helos, given that you've also got helos here. Like, do you need 5 recon helos? But then the question is, well, what do you bring instead? That's a good question. Yes, the KSK, you can bring them in the MI8s for the funny helo deployed opener, but if they expect that to happen, then you'd really wish you didn't bring it in this in some instances, so I actually prefer to bring it in the trucks now as well. This is a very nice squad. Best part of Rugener. That can be good. These guys, yeah. The Krugs are very inconsistent, but what can you do? This thing, that thing, this thing. I prefer the Spag one because they've got the same range, and the Spag one, you know, it's a bit more consistent. Although for whatever reason it's slower. Oh, it's a different truck. Interesting. Yeah, these are funny. These are good because they come at 2 vet by default, so you get 6 of them. And then, yeah, back to the plains. I wish I could give you some more advice, except don't play the div. It doesn't make any sense. Anyway, his opponent is Task Force ZSIKRA, is playing as 1st Cavalry. Now, I actually have a 2-hour guide for 1st Cavalry. And so I recommend following that. I'm not sure if it's such a good idea to 2-vet these Cav troopers, but okay. This was made before the arty rework. So, like, you can still bring these at 1-vet. But honestly, this is now the best counter battery in the game. And, like, so when I play 5th Panzer, I bring the Mars. Like, this is really good. You just buy it. Obviously, it's very expensive, right? And then you just buy it and leave it at the back on counter battery, right? I've won tournament games with this, although it was a 2v2 tournament, and I've seen 1v1 tournament. There's a game, it's called Finals 35th US Tournament Finals, and in the second game, 3rd US was played, and this was purchased in a 1v1 tournament final. So it is very, very good. Or you can have both of these on 1-vet. The thing is, right, these days the range matters a lot. Because if you're too close to the front line, you die. But I definitely recommend trying this. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. Stop bringing it. And then this guy, I don't know. I mean, you can just bring the bitish one. Or you can just down-vet this. Right, it's only 20 points more, and the guided rounds are still very useful. But yeah, try this for counter battery. It's very, very good. Because you need to put a CV next to it. But it's like one of the only things in the game that can just reliably hit the guy at the back of the map shooting artillery at you if you have a CV next to it, and you might have to bring it a bit closer because they might move in time. But the dispersion circle's so small that you tend to get them. Yeah, I don't have a problem with this. The CEV is really good, and I bring it at no vet now as well, simply because I want as many of them as possible. You might run out of tanks. There is some kind of bug where the dangerousness value of some of these tanks... So I've had this used against me. It's kind of exploity, but I can't remember it exactly. But basically I was against a guy and he was using this. And my tank was just constantly re-aimed depending on this CV and this tank. And so I just never got to shoot him. It was really annoying. I need to look into that more. Or you can bring this one. It's just this will die to the 30 AP plane missile. But it's like 20 kilometers an hour faster, which is important. And the gun is better. And it's better against infantry and it's cheaper. So, yeah, anyway. So yeah, it's not so bad bringing that. If you find yourself running out of tanks... Honestly, I'd really recommend just down-vetting this one. Because, like, what you get 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Well, maybe that's fine. Anyway, at least that's in the grenade launcher transport. The E-TAS, make sure you always bring a supply with it if you're going to go for the E-TAS. Because, yes, it's got exceptional optics, but it's only got 2 rounds. The other one, I'm pretty sure I bring both. There's 12, but it's only got very good optics. So yeah, you just always bring a supply with this, and then that's fine, basically. Yes, this is very useful. Black Hawks, always nice to have Black Hawks. Cav Scouts people seem to like. Do I bring them in the guide? I do. In fact, I bring... Yeah, it's all the same. So, yeah, the Colt is for the ground surveillance radar. And the grenade launchers. And it's nice to have ground surveillance radar when you're playing such a kind of heavy, slow deck. You really want that arty advantage, so you can whack them with these. Just make sure you always put CV next to this now that I've down-vetted it. But trust me, man, try this. Against Rugener, you probably don't need it. But actually, well, if he fires those D30s from the back of the map, this will kill him. This might not be able to reach. Stinger, Avenger, Rapier. Sort of mega vetted Avengers. I bring 2 cards of Stingers because I like the Bradley BSV. Because it's got like really nice anti-helo. Although it doesn't have a pen, so I don't know if it's actually worse against helicopters because it doesn't have the pen. Anyway, is it worth, like, is it worth it? Because this is a 2-pointer, although, where's that other 2-pointer? 2 cards are supplied, does that make sense? I think you can do it. Yeah, sorry, I'm a bit all over the place. Whoa, that's weird. Where's the Engineer's Flash? Like, you can't win forest fights without this, because you don't have enough infantry. So, yeah, this is why I think I don't bring Cav Troopers, as cool as they look. And I have these down-vetted, and instead of bringing Cav Troopers, which you already basically have in the form of Cavalry Scouts, right? Admittedly, you've only got 4 of those, which is why I down-vet them. You need this. This is like non-negotiable. Whatever you got to get rid of to bring the Engineer's Flash, get rid of it. Because you need the Engineer's Flash. Because otherwise, you're going to get in a forest fight. Obviously, it's Vertigo, so it doesn't matter. But if you were playing this map on Tala without those Flash, Rugener would beat the shit out of you. So, you need the Flash. Always have the Flash with another unit. You can pair it up with this one. You can pair it up with this one. Yeah, what was the one where I was like, well, there's no 2-pointers or whatever? Because if you go, I don't know, I don't know about this. But basically, you can't afford the extra plane, so I understand. I did have somebody use this against me. This actually works now. It didn't used to work. But basically, it doesn't see anything on the ground except radar AA, which can't shoot it. So that was actually really annoying. Because I spent the whole game having my radar AA blown up. But this isn't a strike deck in terms of strike aircraft. That's just not what this this div's about. But basically, I bring 3 cards of AA, and then I've got the cluster plane, because this is really useful. Now, this is now 2 per card, so this is actually isn't bad, but the 60-second reload cluster plane's not bad, but if you want to bring more tanks and whatever, yeah, just have it 1 thing, just in case, can work. If you're going to have 1 thing just in case, I guess you bring in this so you can do the funny opener with the quick fix of the A10. If that's not the plan, this is probably better as your 1 thing, because it's fast, it's survivable, and it reloads in 60 seconds. So even if infantry's coming, you just drop this on it, bam, problem solved. Oh, I see, you bring 1 more card of helos as well. So 1 Apache instead of 2 cluster planes or 2 LGBTs. Does that make sense? 1 Apache instead of 2 cluster planes? It depends how you play. The Apaches can be extremely useful, or it can just die immediately to an F4F that somebody just YOLOs straight into it without a care in the world and gets lucky. Right, so with that out of the way, we've got Task Force ZSIKRA on 1st Cavalry against Rapid Deploy Goulash on Rugener. I think these guys are in the top 200, or top 100. It moves around, right? Depends how you win. In terms of how much you win. Sorry, lately, you know, I used to be a really smart guy. I don't know what happened. You know, I've got a PhD. Anyway, can't speak now. So, Vertigo. It got changed. They added these zones back. Thank God. It took a while, but it happened, and the map is still red side favoured in this case. By the way, you know when I say that, blue isn't always on this side, and red isn't always on this side. I'm speaking just relatively for now, right? Because what happens because NATO is always going to be blue, and Pact is always going to be red. And so sometimes, you know, so if you just play this matchup over and over again, you're not always going to get the same side of the map. So sometimes red's going to be on this side, right? Just keep that in mind. Anyway, yeah, basically the map's red side favoured because of this big hill here. It's literally it. So red, also put a guy there, shoot the reinforcement road. Put a guy here, shoot the reinforcement road. Like from your base, you can shoot the from your zone, you can shoot the opponent's reinforcement road. Vice versa, no shot. Big hill for defending. Nice fallback into Paul. Right, it's very, very hard for blue to ever get to Paul. Blue's advantage. Also, if blue tries to spawn units here, they come down this road and get shot by this. And these buildings don't shoot this, right? The Blue's advantage is if they take mid, then they put an ATGM in here, or, you know, he doesn't have infantry ATGMs because of his div, so you put just a Bradley there, basically, right? You try and minimize your exposure, so like there, maybe. Yeah. And then, because you don't want to get shot by this. And then you just shoot toes down here, and then they can't reinforce, and then you can slowly try and grind this out. But generally, that's, yeah, blue should take mid and then cut across this way, generally. And red's plan should be to take mid and take this. Because once you take mid, you put an ATGM in there, and then they can't reinforce down this road, and they can't reinforce down this road anyway. You don't even need this. It's nice to have, but you don't need it because of this. You take this, and then you move up to here, and then you cut across. And blue's plan should be not with this div, but in general, hold on to mid, hold on to this, and push left and take these two. Because the forward deployment, if you both have airborne forward deployment, or even both have recon forward deployment, you know, if they've got the same starting position, same speed and so on, and they're trying to get to this zone, blue will get hit here first. So you can get center at the start, but you end up with a kind of disjointed front line, so it's better for blue to just take mid and then push across to Dimitri, and yes, you can attack here if you want. So looking at the deployment, he's clearly bought some planes. This is a really bad deployment. Sorry, mate. No offense. Your div is weak in the early game because you get a bunch of expensive units, and your late game is way better than your opponent. You got to play it slow because you're on the bad side anyway. You're the slow late game div. So you should not be trying to contest him in the opener. It's something that we all do. It takes a long time to unlearn this behavior. If you're the slow div, just play slow. Don't be like, I gotta try and get the ground. Because all that happens is you still don't get the ground and all you guys die. So, so we got that classic 8-unit opener there, and presumably some planes. I'm going to assume it's the A10 and the fighter, because that's the meme. The quick fix the fighter, the A10. But generally you don't want to do that. And these should be the cheap 40-point CV, one to here, and then you want to stack up on a couple defensive units on Anna. You know, these should just be whatever your cheapest recon is, like the Fault or Cav Scouts. Cav Scouts there. Cav Scouts there. And then your main push should include a CEV and maybe an M1 tank. Engineer's Flash or Engineer's M67, because he doesn't bring the Flash, which you shouldn't do. You should bring the Flash. And then, you know, maybe a smoke mortar to cut this off, but against Rugener, you probably don't need that. A bit of AA, right? Quite a bit of AA. Then you come take this. You do not be like, I need to just go everywhere. That's just not what your div does. It's very hard to get out of that kind of mindset that, oh, I gotta contest at the start. And, like, you know, no, you don't. So, his opponent playing Rugener, and he gets airborne forward deployment. It's a 90km/h transport, and obviously these are in helo, so they will get there first. But failing that, you should get there first. Generally, you want to go for this building, because they both get to, unless you've got, well, you've got a recon helo, so you'd see what's up and so on. But basically, if you both deploying down this road, you'll both get to this building at the same time. These buildings, and if you're going past that and he's in there, well, he's just going to blow you up. So just keep that in mind, and he's going for this. But he's got the helo, so you'll see, and then yeah, earn opening, 2-vet fighter. These you see people bring at 2-vet because you get 3 of them at 1-vet, unlike the Phantom F3 on Britain, which has less range on the missiles and no gun, but comes at 2 availability and cost more. Anyway, yes, Conker's in there. He does need... Oh, he's got a KSK. Okay. Let's cast the game. Wait, CVs. 1 CV. Well, this is 2-pointer now. This is a 2-pointer now. So... probably need 2 CVs. Yeah. Let's cast the game. Right, so they're off, and it's time for me to thank the generous channel joiners, generously joining the channel. They get their names on the screen, they get the videos early, they get members exclusive videos. One join at the lowest levels worth 2,000 views, so if you're feeling bad about your ad block, it's a great way to support the channel. This is not the Phantom I was referring to. That's interesting. His plane's cheaper, so you expect it to lose, but it was a 2-vet. But it's a 2-vet because it comes at 3 base availability, so actually it's, you know, its 2-vet is like your 1-vet. Anyway, the difference in ECM is only 10%, so these things are going to happen. And that was the fighter's purpose. Right, he's not even moving this up. Why isn't this a 40-point CV? Anyway, there's the Krug. The Krug was on an attack move order, so it lost the tracking there. And then it hits, so there you go, there's his big RNG there. 30%. He fired twice. I can't do the maths in my head because of the ECM. It's not just 60%. But look, this... You spent 200 points on this. And, yeah, blue is playing way too aggressively for a late game div. Mid to late game div. He just doesn't have the units. That was not great. Especially given that he unloaded this here, so he clearly knew there was somebody in there. Anyway, he buys a cluster plane. Why? Why do you have a cluster plane? Does he not want to shoot this? With the missiles and so on. And is he going to buy a CV? Okay, he spotted this one. Yeah, I mean, obviously if you could see this, that'd be great to buy the cluster plane, because obviously it's got one Avenger protecting it, so you're probably going to kill it. Yeah, so, like, blue literally has 2 fighting units here. So this is back to my point about, look, if you're playing a div that doesn't get a lot of units at the start, you just got to give it up, man. You just got to accept... Whoa, what happened there? Oh, it just decided it didn't want to do stuff. Okay, well... Oh! Yeah, he monged out there. He got side shot. So, I think that's dead, because this is a dive bomber, and yeah, it was already slow from the cohesion loss, and yeah, so if that was a 40-point CV, it still would have died there, and you'd be 160 points better off. Same with this one, like, basically I would have had 2 40-point CVs, tracking down, and then I would have set up here with AA, right? Probably buy a fighter in the first tick if you don't buy one at the start, and then just slowly work my way back in here with the CEV and the Abrams. It's a different way to play the game, and honestly, like, this is something that I have to constantly remind myself when I play heavier divs, because I like the light, scrappy divs. And when I play, I set a bad example when I play the heavier divs, because I play them like light, scrappy divs, and then, like, it can work if you're just way better than your opponent. But if you're playing against somebody who's as good as you are, and you play a slow div as if it is a fast div, you're probably going to lose. So, you know what they say, the blood of the Tree of Liberty has to be soaked in the blood of the whatever, you know, freedom ain't free. You know what I mean? So, he's buying artillery, but he doesn't have a front line. I get it though, he wants to kill that Conkers, I suppose. And honestly, blue needs to deal with mid. Because, well, you just put a Conkers in there, and you put a Conkers in here. If blue has mid, they can put a recon there, and then you can see this and deal with that a lot easier. Is this just the one from before? It is. And blue basically needs to always have a fighter up on cap. Combat Air Patrol. Because that's just going to keep happening. And Avengers and Tracked Rapier. Oh, yeah, by the way, in my deck that I showed you, I actually do bring the Tracked Rapier now, instead of some of the Stingers. Or it might even be instead of the Avenger, because I've got the Stingers for the helos. And that's because you can get proper cyberbullied by planes if you're playing blue, if you're playing first cavalry. So you do have to watch out for that. So we got the instructor tank, which is decent. It's just it's not got any smoke, and yeah. But the thing is, like, I understand. Well, Blue's in here now, fighting on the part of the map where Rugener is the strongest on the whole map because it's a town fight, and they get the things like this: 12 men with flamethrower, and shock is good now. So these units are very scary now. Shock actually does something. And so if you're blue, you kind of want to fight in the open, and you really want to have taken this. So, you know, use the tanks I'll push him off the first level. He'll fall back here because the CV is scared of it. Like, look. Oh, it's going on the vehicles. And then you send in the engineer's flash, which I bet you wish he had now. That was very unfortunate. And then you take that. And then if you own this, well, so you don't get infantry ATGMs as first cav, but if you've got a Bradley here, well then you're shooting this way, and you can clear out the guy that's here, so they're not constantly shooting your reinforcements, and then you can actually use this road to get into the zone instead of going across every time, like... So, yeah, the middle is very, very important. So, like, that's just going to keep happening until he has a plane up 24/7. It's actually very sad. So, like, instead of buying this, which so far has killed nothing, he could have had that plane, and then he would be 2 tanks better off, unironically. 2 tanks, a Rapier, and an Avenger better off if he'd had that plane up. So, as with most strategy games, losses compound, unless you make it like Broken Arrow, where the enemy just gets freebies for losing. So here we go, he's bought the fighter now. Well, better late than never. This doesn't have smoke. And oh, okay, well I'm not sure what happened there. What? Oh, that was what the hell just happened? Did I fire 2 at once or something? What? Anyway, yeah. So, at this point he's wishing he brought the engineer's flash. So yeah, if you're red, because it's like, well, what should red be doing? Red's doing the right thing. The only thing red should be doing that he isn't already doing is he should get an ATGM in here or in here. This one, yes, it's there. But another one here, that would be cool. And he needs to buy more Krugs, which he is doing, but you don't want to buy them all at once. So yeah, 2 at this point in the game I think is fine. And yeah, he's doing it right. He's fighting in here. He should probably put somebody else in here. The main thing you have to worry about is people coming all the way around. And you can also put a guy in here, send him all the way around to there, and then he starts shooting the reinforcements. So that can be quite potent. He noticed, because like usually I'd say don't buy so many planes, but if your enemy has weak AA and he doesn't have a fighter up, and you see a CV tank, and you know the enemy's only got short range AA because that's what his division is, or you've got good recon and you've checked it out, then yes, by all means, buy a cluster bomb and kill the tank. Planes generally are for like targets of opportunity. In terms of general, I want to air spam. That's a late game trick. If you air spam from the early game, as usual, if you're playing against a player who's worse than you, then you'll probably do very well out of it. But if you're playing against a player of similar skill level, all they'll do is just fall back a little bit, buy loads of AA, and just bleed out all your planes. And then, like, once they bought the AA, those planes you bought, that investment then just sort of becomes useless. So that MiG's going a bit deep. He's scouting for AA. Ah, right, so he sent that as a sacrifice so that he could kill the M1. So you see this drops from quite high. And it does kill you, but honestly, that should have moved out of the way. Because you've got like 7 seconds. You'd have to go forwards and, forwards and left, basically. Once it's dropped. Because if you go backwards, you get the forest speed and you still die. So he should have gone forwards and left and he would have survived. Because the Abrams is super fast. It's like 70 kilometers an hour off-road or something. He's not got any left, so there's one. So yeah, red's doing the right thing. The other thing red could be doing is, because his units are cheaper, he could be sending something around here. He doesn't get the BRDM2s though, which is kind of strange. And his units aren't that fast. So as Rugener, it's kind of hard to do wide attacks, because you don't have a bunch of BTR-80s, or whatever, BTR-70s. I'm surprised he doesn't, because those are mock shots of BTR, I guess they all died, but basically if he had one, you want to send it like that around it, and then round the back, try and find the CV. Over here you could send something light, but yeah. You'd have to send an AA like this. So you send an SPW-70 with this with it, or a Malyutka ATGM vehicle with this with it. And then this will protect the... Because they'll send a helo to deal with it, because that's what they always do, and then this will kill the helo, so... It's very effective, but honestly there's nothing wrong with what he's doing here, which is just, well, my opponent is being a silly Billy, so I'm just gonna keep sticking the knife in. And at some point he should buy the D30s and put them on counter battery. Okay. I mean, what? You can just unload it right here or something. Do you need that extra distance? Maybe you do, because this will never reach you, but the thing is the MLRS, M270 MLRS has the same range as you, so probably still reach you if you go into that corner. Yeah, so these need to be stood still, otherwise they're not going to fire the requires rifle, which is the whole point of them. And yeah, I mean, Blue's just... You know, at the start I said, look, if you try and contest the opener... Obviously you can't hear me, right, so I'm not like, well, why didn't you do it after I said it? But... So yeah, this is very effective at killing stuff like that, especially when it's at 2 because it can fire while moving, so he can do that. It's not a problem. So... Like I said, if you try and contest the opener with a heavy div, all that's going to happen is you're going to lose all your stuff, and then you're still not going to have the ground. So it's like, your choices aren't, oh, I have to contest or I'll lose the ground. That's not the choice. The choice is, do you want to push into this zone having lost your entire opener, or do you want to push into this zone while still having your entire opener? That's your choice. So now he's basically trying to reconstitute his whole army, and with these heavy divs, especially a div with such weak AA, expensive tanks and weak ground-based AA, or weak anti-plane AA, and what are frankly some pretty weak fighters. It just takes you ages to get all your stuff back. See, he hasn't killed a single enemy bomber. I think I can now see 3 of them coming in. So these have all revealed, and now these should go on all the AA pieces, and that one is, okay. So, yeah, there was a lot of AA, so he still lost a plane. Mainly because these were... the synchronization was a little bit off. Because, like, if the missile's still going, on the Tractor Rapier at least, for the Avenger it's fire and forget, it will maintain its tracking on that target, even if it wants to shoot at the bomber, it will maintain its tracking on the fighter, unless you manually tell the first missile to whiff, which you shouldn't do really. You should wait for it to see if it hits or misses, and then tell it to do it. And so while it's still tracking on the fighter, that's when the bomber should be hitting it, because then it never shoots the bomber. It was just, they were like a couple seconds out, they don't have the same speeds, so it's very hard to get that right, and they don't come in at the same time. But yeah, we're finally getting that arty now. And yeah, this should have a move order queued up. But yeah, despite this, Blue's still getting in, because, I mean, Red's got a lot of planes, and like, you can send this T-72 up, but then the Brat would shoot you, and you don't have recon, so you'd get side shot, and you don't have smoke, so you can't even get out, so you just die. So I can understand why he's not sending it over. So yeah, Blue trying to take this is smart, frankly, because he doesn't have mid. If he tries to attack this way, well, for starters, it's more of a town fight, so you're going to lose against Red's better infantry. and also you're going to get side shot for the whole game, whereas down here is down a hill. So when you push in this way, you don't get shot by all the guys who are here because of the hill. You do get shot by whoever's here, which he's just blown up with arty, so that's probably dead. Even if it hadn't hit the first 2 missiles, it would have kept going, so... yeah. Could bring this over and side shot it while it's engaged. But yeah, you see blue is still sort of, despite how absolutely horrifying the attrition rate has been for blue's units, he is still sort of pushing him out here. But frankly, that's what you'd expect. Because it's a generally open map. And, so he gets another Abrams, but he loses another tank. Thing is, because his opponent brings the Abrams at 2 vet instead of 1 vet, they're actually 2 per card each. The thing is, once Rugener runs out of planes, well, how do you kill the tanks anymore? But you have to use the tanks to kill the planes, so he could have waited till his other bomber was back up and then bombed that AA piece. Even if it's a 2-man Stinger, it'll still kill it with the clusters, because it's only 2 guys. So, the Copperhead's been wounded. He's trying to get that Tow Cobra. The faster 4 is like a sort of Ersatz Avenger. Oh, it's dead. Because it can also fire on the move, but its missiles are a lot worse, but it's literally 60 points cheaper, so... this gun is really good against infantry. It's like better than a regular 50 cal. It does more damage per shot. It's because when they changed... So people always say, "Oh, it's actually a better 50 cal," right? But that's not the reason it's like that in this game. The reason it's like that in this game is that all 50 cals used to have these stats, and when they nerfed them all like 2 years ago, they just forgot to nerf this one. So, I mean, that HE and stuff, it didn't have the, all the other ones didn't have that anti-helo and anti-air shooting capability, but... Yeah, so it's rough for red. I mean, at this point, you gotta be, like, smoking, because if you smoke here, well then, forwards, dead CV. Because, yeah, you can't really fight the Abrams. You gotta rely on side shots and stuff, so... Yeah, and then your ATGMs aren't very good either, so you can put an infantry Conquerors there, but the CEV's just gonna twat it, so... He's got the smoke mortar. The coffin launcher's good as well, because, like, sooner or later they do have to come for this. Unless they attack here, which is probably not a good idea for them either, because you're on the good side, so you've got a very nice position. And lack of recon, right? Blue has 0 recon. This is his only recon on the map. He's bought a little bit more, but he needs more recon. Because, you know, you can't see things. And so yeah, he's coming forwards, but that CEV is going to hit him because he didn't use the smoke. Oh, CEV can't see him apparently. CEV can see. And now he is EV. As in eviscerated. Wow, crazy. So that's why you do the smoke, right? Which he did buy, but then he got impatient and now he's lost his unit. So patience also part of this game. But then if you play too slow, you run out of time. So lots to think about. I mean, Warno really is a beautiful game. I like it a lot. I mean, obviously that I make my living off this YouTube channel, and it's about Warno. So, but that's for a reason. It's because I like playing it. I like watching it. I think it's a beautiful game. I think it's got a lot fewer problems than some people seem to think. Focusing the Stolly is not a bad idea because it's got 1,500 supply in it. Sadly, he didn't hit it. But yeah, this is a great recon spot because I believe he still sees. Well, he might not. No, he probably doesn't. Yeah, so you want to get a bunch of T-55As in here because at close ranges they can do something, right? Sooner or later he's going to come for this. Although if you're blue, you really want to take this first. It's hard to do because of the way the positioning is. You're like, well, I'm already here, and I don't want him to shoot me. But there's a hill here, they can't actually shoot you, so he'd be much better off if these units were with these units, and he came and took this with, you know, he's got an Abrams there. Oh, he's not smoking, and he's just seen a bunch of RPGs fire at him, and he's like, I'm driving the CV in. Well, he got what he deserved. Because, like, you've got these long-range tanks, right? And you could come take this, and then you put a Bradley's in there, and then they can't reinforce. And your AA is now closer, so that when you attack here, they can't really get in. And they can't get to you here without flying over your AA, which is going to be closer in a short-range AA. He's just doing both. He's just doing both. And at this point, Blue probably wishes he had the M270 MLRS, because it would kill all these. So, he's just doing both. Which typically you don't want to do, but you wanna do one and then do the other. You don't want to attack in two places at once. He hasn't brought up the AA. His fighter is up, but it's way too far away. Because you know what's going to happen. You're going to get hit by a bloody cluster. Thing is, Red can't see him, because this isn't actually in the building. So he can't see him. So he's going to miss. So that speed coming in handy there. The Abrams is an absolute joy to use as a tank. The ergonomics is very good. Oh, he's retarded. So he just drove past it instead of attack moving. So he showed his side armor, and the T-55A one-shot it. Because the side armor is 7, and the front armor is 60. So, and that was another side shot. And now he's sending the CV down here in front of the tank that just killed his Abrams. So this is why you don't attack in two places at once. Because it doesn't really matter how good you are, you can really only do one thing at once. Multitasking as a concept isn't actually real. All you're doing is rapidly switching between two tasks. It's like, ooh, but women can do it. I mean, what? It just doesn't make any sense. Nobody can multitask. All you're doing is rapidly switching between two different things. So he should have attacked in one place with all these guys and, you know, have some defending units. And then set up here. And then attacked across. Because now all he's done is he's lost his CV. So now he's got to wait for another CV to show up. And he lost 2 of his tanks because he wasn't looking. Oh, he lost 2 CVs actually. Oh, so he's... Whoa, that's smart. That's smart. It's pretty intelligent, actually. So, if he hadn't done that, nothing actually would have changed, but... Because of where this is, these buildings would have blocked it. But he didn't know that. He didn't know there could have been a tank there, right? It looked cool. So... yeah. Blue's basically lost his whole army again, so now he's got to build up, and now he's got less than half the game. So it's looking pretty rough. He still has a chance, but if he had just attacked here, and then you know, leave an Abrams there, leave some AA there, leave a Bradley there, and then attacked in the front. Yeah, that's the issue with... To be honest, I guess that's why the fighters weren't too close, because there's every chance he might just get one shot by a bloody Krug. So he's taking the risk again after seeing what happened to his friend. Yeah, he just hadn't given it an order, and now he knows he's lost 2 fighters. Now I can send in the bomber. So that will have ramifications. And Blue never even took this position properly, so he never got to take advantage. He did get the smoke mortar, which is smart. He is not moving these after they shoot. Are these on counter battery? You just want to leave like 2 of them on counter battery, and yeah, that's exactly what he's done. So I expect to see an SU bomber now, because he knows the fighters are down because he just killed them. But there you go, +2 with 15 minutes is enough. That's more than enough. It's basically, it's like 1,200 points. So, what? Alright. So he's got the A10 out, but the enemy's got the fires up. I don't know, maybe he couldn't see him, you know, because he doesn't have radar AA. And the air optics on that is amazing. Oh, well, to be honest, that was... If this fighter dies as well, that's actually a huge win, because if the enemy doesn't have any fighters, well then... Oh, he doesn't see where it is, so that's a guess. He got the supply, but he didn't get the important units, so... It's all good for Red. But now if Blue holds on to this, he will win, so he needs to put some infantry in that gap, such as the Engineer's Flash he didn't bring, or the Engineer's M67, which I think he's still got some left. He needs to put infantry in here and, you know, sort this out. But yeah, imagine if he'd done it the way I said. It is very hard to do that in the moment, though, because forgot to move his AA. Does happen when when there's a big fight and then a plane flies over. It's very hard to just move all your AA, so that usually is a good time to shoot the enemy AA. Or do counter battery, because generally if they're firing arty in a big fight, they're not moving their stuff. So these are pretty good because it's kinetic, 10 rounds a minute. This is worth bringing. And so now Red's trying to take this back because Blue's overextended and he lost too many units in the push. So you got to be very slow and methodical with these heavy tank divs. They're not weak at all. You just have to play slow. Slow and methodical, especially on a map like Vertigo, you can do that. And then it just comes down to the micro of driving the tank forwards. That's got very low accuracy, the M14. Taking, shooting twice, taking a hit, taking 2 hits, and then getting out, and just doing that over and over and over again. But it's very hard to do that without losing the tanks. And at the same time, you don't want to take any hits. That 100mm shoots at helos. It's just got really bad accuracy. Makes a funny sound, though. Have you considered not walking towards the Apache? No, I want to get in autocannon range so I can die even faster. But why don't you just wait for this to kill it, and then you can... I suppose that's going to take a while. Well... I mean, he could have realistically lost 0 units there instead of 2. All he had to do was turn around. It's kind of interesting watching this miss, though. Well, wow. At least it got it eventually. These NSVTs are really good against that, but now you got to move these because he should RT them. He's going for the Krug, which is the better shout, frankly. And the Krug didn't move. Crit fired. So I think Red's going to get back in. He just needs some CVs. Which he's not bought. I understand that. There's some high-level players who basically just don't buy CVs until they've taken a zone. It's just you end up like 1,500 points behind, and they can still win from that because they've taken the zone properly. But for the sake of one unit buying a CV, it'd be one fewer of these, and that would be the CV. I think it's worth it, frankly. So yeah, this is a very scary unit. This is a very scary unit. And yeah, Rugener's doing it. His bombers were very effective at killing the enemy tanks. Every tank he kills is 1 minute setback for his opponent. Kills an Apache, that's 1 minute setback for his opponent. Kills a plane, that's almost 1 minute setback for the opponent. And you just got to see it like that. Time's ticking. I'm winning. Oh, well, okay, I'm not because I refused to buy a CV. So, actually, you're winning. But, Red is in both zones, right? Is he doing that thing where he drives towards the Apache again? Just move this over. Apache's decided it doesn't want that juicy quadruple kill. Gives it to the Brat instead. So this can shoot while landed, and it has really, really big range. This is actually a very hard tool for Blue to deal with if used properly, because you have it 3,000 meters away, and if they dive it with a plane, well, they get hit by the many, many AA, including the Krug. And basically it's only got 1 missile and very bad accuracy, so you just keep it with a supply truck, and you can just land it, other than they RT it, so you gotta stand up. you know, land it in pow, 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 pow. And, like, it's got 30 AP, it would one-shot this, so it's very powerful. But yes, it's very hard to use. In Tropic Storm, one of the divs, I think it's the Venezuelan div, one of the Venezuelan divs, the big red one, instead of the 4. They're getting one that has 2 on it. At least that's what it said in the dev blog, so... So yeah, red, he's pushing him out. He bought a CV. The CV will eventually arrive. Honestly, you want to buy another CV, because what if something happens to this? It takes like 3 minutes for this to show up, you know? We've been talking about this for a while, since 13 minutes. So, this is what I was talking about before. He's put it in a great spot, because when these come past, he'll sideshot them. So, that's what these were, I guess? Maybe? Well, he's almost to the CV here. Just needs to go forward to... Although he's probably worried about the Apache. He's got the faster. CV leaves. Probably couldn't have killed that anyway, unless he sort of put them both forwards at once and double hit it. So he's counter-batterying the smoke mortar, which he should always do. There were 3 here, weren't there? So he got 1. 1.5. This should finish off that one now. Because it can't see the other one, so it's going to prioritise, obviously, that... Oh, okay. Now you got to smoke, because that's a toe 2. Ow. Oh, he did. He bought 2 CVs. So, red's won, right? Because he's got all the zones. And blue's out of units. Don't really see what blue can do now. These should just die. His tanks are going to take ages to show up. So, I'm going to speed up a little bit, because I reckon he'll probably play it out, but I just don't see how... Because he... You know, he really needed to buy more recon. Like, this is here, and that's it. He needed more recon. Like, Cav Scouts in the concrete jungle, right? Because look, you just can't see anything, right? And so that's the kind of heavy tank gameplay you want. Obviously with slightly better recon, like an E-TAS, but I think he might have used all those. Oh, he's taking it back. But there's no way you can win the game at this point, I think. Because well, he just needs to... And the smoke mortar die. He's got another one, right? You smoke there, jump forwards and kill it. Has he got any bombers left? Did they all die? I guess that makes sense. So he's got a Panzerjäger in here, so you want to put that in this building, because he's going to come for you at some point. Yeah, just struggling against the Apache, which makes sense, because none of his stuff has the range. But all that does is even the tick, so he's going to come around here now, I guess. But imagine how this game would have gone if blue didn't just feed his whole deployment. So when you're playing a slow div, play slow. You obviously have to take risks, otherwise you run out of time, but the fact of the matter is this took 40 minutes anyway, blue almost won. Like, that's obviously gonna die now because there's just so much crap here, you know. What? No, he's just gonna let him walk in? He's not gonna go forward to building and kill it? No, he's not gonna go to this building either? No, he's doing it, he's doing it. It's dead. It's alive. It's dead. It's alive. But it's not in the zone anymore. So now you would hide this there. Oh, he's in Artia, okay. Oh, he's smoking it. Oh, you should. No, that's not a good idea. So if your opponent has infantry and you don't, you do not smoke it and run in with your vehicle because well, what do you think is going to happen? What do you think is going to happen? He's just going to run into the smoke and kill you, right? He's just going to run into the smoke and kill you, right? And you're not going to be able to shoot him anymore, whereas before you could shoot him. So he's definitely going to run into the smoke and kill you. He's not just going to wait around. Okay, there he goes, he got it. Oh, he got in here as well, so... And the Apache died, like, he lost his fire support, so I get it. So there you go, it was actually a lot closer than I thought it'd be. At the end, I mean, it looked like Red had closed it out, but Blue got back in. So yeah, just play slower, bring your recon. When you play a heavy tank div, you just got to play different. And if you try playing it like a lighter div, like second UK, and you're like, well, I've got some tanks, but also, you know, I could go fast at the start. No, you can't. If you do it, you're just gonna get the crap beaten out of you. You obviously the meme rush is very funny. Oh, I've got my A10, right? My A10 and my Hilo. Like, I get it, but it's a meme for a reason, right? It's not a mainline strat for a reason, okay? And honestly, the cheapest way of doing it would be to just bring the quick fix and bring the A10. And if you see an enemy fighter, just evac your A10. But yeah, interesting game. So we got Rapid Deploy Goulash, rank 139, and ZSIKRA, rank 107. So very similarly ranked players. And yeah, you know, take the middle. Wow. He got a good use out of his arty. Imagine if he'd had the M270. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that. I'll see you around. GG.